Ben Shaft with Level Up Tuts. Today we're going to level up our ExpressionEngine 2 skills. This is ExpressionEngine 2 tutorial number 5, and we are going to continue going over the admin menu, and we're actually going to stick right inside of this channel administration. On the last video we covered global preferences, and in this video we're going to cover categories and statuses. Okay. So before we do that, let's go ahead and I'm going to encourage you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do so you can get updates whenever we post new videos. And thanks a lot to those who have already. Really appreciate that. Okay, so we'll start the tutorial. I'm logged into my ExpressionEngine instance. If you're not, again, you just add admin.php to the root of your URL and it'll ask you to log in. Do that and then you'll be right where I am. So we're going to click on Admin, Channel Administration, and we will start with Statuses. So what a status is in ExpressionEngine is a way for you to flag a piece of content. By default, when you install ExpressionEngine, you get one group called statuses, but you can create more groups if you desire. And the first two inside of this group of statuses is open and closed. With ExpressionEngine, there's this idea of a piece of an entry being open or closed, and what that means is when an item is open, that means it's available to be displayed on the website, and if it's closed, that means that it's available to be displayed, however, not by default. When you're writing ExpressionEngine tags within the template, you have to explicitly say that you want to show the status of anything other than open. So if an item is closed, you have to say status equal open, or sorry, status equal closed, just to display it if it's those entries that are closed. Open, by default, like I said, they'll just show things that are open. But you notice again that these are just the first two that you get. You can have more. And so typically what I do is I'll have like open and closed, and then I'll also create another one so that I can flag a piece of content as being featured. In Drupal, you can think, I sort of liken this to the promote to front functionality, but maybe named a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and create a new one so you can see what it looks like. So we click that button, and here we give it a name. So I'm going to say featured. The order just going to show the third option there, and then the next one is you can give it a color, which it's not really all that important. So I'm gonna just give it that color, blue, and then restrict the status to members of specific groups. By default, only administrators can change the status, but here we can say, if we want more people to be able to do that, and I'm just gonna leave it, and that's fine. I don't care. So note that we now have the third item here, and note that we can only delete the ones that we've created. We can't delete the two that you start out with. So this probably makes sense for this group. So let's go back one level, and I'm just going to use the breadcrumbs, but you can also just go admin channels to statuses. But again, I'm just going to do the other way just so you can see how it's done. And I'm going to create a second group, and we're going to go ahead and call this drafts. We may or may not use this, but I just want you to see that you can do this. So with drafts, you get open and close, but you can also say, first draft. Give it another one. Second draft. And then maybe there's, I don't know, in review. And then final. So as you can imagine, what I'm doing right here is just building out a very, very lightweight workflow system that you can train your users to use. So that's pretty much all we're going to look at for status. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next item, and that's categories. So categories is very similar to status because this is another way to flag content or flag-like content. With this version of ExpressionEngine or any version, there is no default categories. So we're just going to go ahead and create our new category group. So click here, category group. Again, this might vary upon the type of site that you're building. You can have multiple groups of categories. So say for example you're building a directory, like a staff directory or something. So maybe you'd have a group called staff or something. You can there's some settings here, who can edit categories, and you can assign different member groups, who can delete, same thing here. Exclude from channel or file category assignment. I just normally just leave this as is, but it may differ for you. So for staff, so I've now created a category group of staff. I'm going to go ahead and create another one. We'll say we also create news. There's a section of our site for news. So I'll go ahead and create another group called news and hit submit. But again, there's another level that you can make some restrictions there. So now I've created two groups. They have no fields yet. We're saying this 0 here. That indicates that we haven't actually created a category for this categories group. So why don't we go into staff just so you can see this, and maybe there's going to be a new category group. It's like full-time. We can assign it. Here's where it receives that category URL title that we talked about in another video. We can upload a video, sorry, not a video, but an image for that category. It's not really relevant to us there. And here's where we can have a child category or a parent category, which we'll look at in just one second. So we have a full-time staff person. Maybe we'll have a part-time. Not really in love with this example that I'm giving, but it's really just more important that you see how this functionality works. So faculty, again, notice that it's auto assigning the category URL title. You'll see that you can always name these whatever you want, but it does just replace the spaces with dashes or underscores based on that global preference that you set earlier. Alright, so that is staff, but say we want to change the order, the sort order. I can hit custom, and now I can use this. So say I want part-time to be on the top. I click it twice. This is sort of a really clunky interface, but it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that and hit update. I'm going to go back to the news category that I was setting up, and I'm going to give you an illustration of what the child categories looks like. So say we have a news category, and in this example we'll say we have this is like a news site now, so we'll say there's a business category and there's local news. Maybe there's entertainment. Depending on your site, you may not even, just as a side note, you may not even use categories. It just, again, depends on the size and scale of your site. We're going to add one more, and we're going to call it sports. And now sports, we're going to create another one here, and we'll call it NHL. And this one we're actually going to assign to the parent of sports. Hit submit. And what we're going to see is now we have this little indentation, and this indicates that this is a child of sports. And you can have many children. Let's see here. NBA. MLB. And your children can have children, of course. So I can say, you know, I don't know, scouting maybe. So we'll say this is, you know, a baseball scouting story or something, and so on. So I think you guys get it. And so right now what we've done in this video is we set up 2 category groups. We've added a custom status and an additional status group with some custom statuses as well. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. Thanks a lot for watching. And again, everyone, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.